Welcome back. Well, we've just finished Teledon, and over here we have the permanent reminder of that, the floating stone disc, which we'll keep even after we've returned the pillars. And actually every single age, not counting the cavern of course, or the cleft, every single age in this game, if you finish it, you'll get a floating stone thingy here to show other people that come to your altar that you've done those ages. That goes for everything, even Anone and Arcana, and also some of the ages that are exclusive to Ae'gura Live and not in Complete Chronicles, which we'll see much later. Okay, right now we want to take a little detour. Instead of continuing with Garrison, which would be the normal order of things, I want to pick up on something that Douglas Sharper mentioned in his journal, the new part of his journal that we read earlier. And that is actually the pod ages. So he talked about the pod ages, particularly Nagilan, he mentioned that one. The pod ages are new content in Ae'gura Live. I think they were added during the Game Tab era, I'm not entirely sure about that. And they're still here, and there's stuff you can do there. Not an awful lot. They're not really big full ages like Teledon or the others. But there's some interesting stuff you can do there, so we're gonna go there. The place we can find these pod ages is in the city. Or the books to the pod ages.
Von Schickoff is back.
Ah, okay, the guy we saw in...
He's just been looking at me bizarrely as I'm just standing here down at the docks waiting for you to come in. He's like about the fourth person who's beamed in. I'm not beamed in, linked in.
It's not Star Trek.
I know.
Okay. Well, we need to go to the city. We haven't been there yet, of course. And like I said, we don't need to go through the whole Corel egg room thing in Ae'gura Live, because we can already get to the city. There's two ways into the city: the Ae'gura stone in Bevin and the Nexus. And like I said before, the Ae'gura stone in Bevin leads to the neighborhood instance, not the public instance. So if you want to meet other people, don't use that, use the Nexus instead. Initially, you only have a link to the ferry terminal. Later on, we'll be getting other links as well. I think actually in Ae'gura Live you also initially are able to get to the ferry terminal, but the Great Stairs are blocked until you manage to open the egg room in Corel. You can see here that because I picked up the rider shirt in Corel, I now have the rider's pub listed here as well. Alright, let's head to the city. It's always a big moment for any Myst fan to be able to visit Dunny itself. And it's especially nice here because there's actually other people here. It's not a completely empty place anymore.
And this is precisely where you and I met for the first time. Was down at the docks.
Somebody just ran up the stairs, and I think they had the key light.
Oh, what do you mean the key light? The
light that you get in the Great Shaft. That's something we won't be showing anytime soon, really. You can get to the Great Shaft in this game, although obviously it's different than in Complete Chronicles, because Sandy's coordinates mean nothing here, and the whole Tudani storyline doesn't exist. But you can get to the Great Shaft, and if you use the key machine there, your key will briefly have a light.
Oh.
It's really brief, and no, you cannot use it for the puzzle in either Dira. People have tried it. I really like the view here of the docks with the Gate of Karaf.
Yes.
On this side, of course, is where the Borrow Stone to Teledon would be, to pick up the Relto page there. However, that Borrow Stone is missing. It only appears in the neighborhood instance of Ae'gura, not in the public one. Why that is, I'm not sure. But
So that means we'd have to go to our neighborhood and go to the book room and hit the Borrow Stone there, and we'd end up at the big stalagmite up at the top of the stairs.
Yes.
And then we'd be in the city. We'd be in the neighborhood instance of the city.
Okay, well, I've already pointed out most of the things in the city during my original Let's Play. One thing you can notice that the Great Key of the Great Zero is actually activated, because you just saw the beam go by. However, if we check our key, oh, now you see the chat is filling up with other people who are here. You can see there's about 10 people here right now. And they're talking about markers. Because, yes, you still need to calibrate your key if you want to get the coordinates, even though the Great Zero is already activated. And actually, that's a whole lot more work here than it was in Complete Chronicles. So I'm not sure if we'll ever actually do that in the Let's Play. We might do it at the end. I don't know, maybe. The Nexus pedestal, of course, we don't need to put our hand in this one because we already have this Nexus link. One other thing I want to show at the ferry terminal here, if we go to the docks before we actually head to the portages, I just want to point this out. If we go to the docks behind here, you'll be able to see these lights show up in the water. And what these are supposed to be are divers from the Dunny Restoration Council. Right now that doesn't really make sense because during this free version of Ur Life there's not really supposed to be any DRC personnel in the caves, and the Cyan people never show up as DRC characters. So right now these lights don't really make much sense. But they turned them on anyway. It's something that just Cyan can turn on the servers, whether or not they show up or not. But originally these were supposed to indicate that DRC divers were working here, maybe trying to raise one of the boats.
Which would have been nice. We could have sailed off to Kavir.
Yeah. We will get to Kavir, but not by boat. There goes the Grey Zero again. And alright, let's head up to the museum with a brief stop in between to point out one other thing that's unique to Ur Life.
The memorial.
Exactly. In the Complete Chronicles, or the 2 Dunny expansion pack, originally the Great Zero was blocked off by barriers. Here you can see it's not, so really we don't need to solve any puzzles to get to the rest of Ae'gura.
You mean the Great Stairway?
Yeah, the Great Stairway. Okay, on this side here is the pub. And one thing you'll find here that is not in Complete Chronicles is this, the memorial. These are all people, players of Ur Life, who died in real life. And these are all real explorers who died in real life. And these people are commemorated here, which I think is a very nice sentiment from Cyan.
I don't know if you know this, but some hackers got in and changed that, what was on there. I can't remember what they put on it, but it revealed a real frailty in the system that was quite worrying for a while. They talk about it on the forum somewhere.
Okay, no, I wasn't aware of that. Nothing else in the
Yeah.
pub here. You'd thought maybe somebody would set up a heek table or something, but no.
You'll be back here lots if you do the marker quests.
Yes.
This is one of the actually none of these are difficult to get. Um, there's lots that are very difficult to get.
Yeah. The marker quests are a little bit different here. The initial ones aren't. You need to get more markers, but other than that, it's the same. It's once you get to the calibration markers that things change. You need to get a lot more markers there, and a lot of them are very hard to get, and you need to do suicide jumps to get them. Okay, we're out of time, so we'll continue in the next video when we'll actually go to the pod ages.